Danyaal, resident Gooner, celebrating being top of the league over this international break. I'm with my esteemed guest, Liverpool fan Tamim. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, thank you. How are you? You all right?
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I'm happy we can, take
I'm sure you
the
are.
league energy, top of the table energy, over this international break. And I'm with our
resident Gooner.
other resident Gooner, West Ham fan / Man United fan / how do you define yourself, dog?
West Haram.
West Haram.
Yeah. Also, Tamim, can we give Danyaal a round of applause for Arsenal winning the top of the table in October League trophy?
Yep, they've done it. They've done it. Finally.
They've done it, man. They've done it. Oh, this is amazing. Only Arsenal.
Every October they do it. They keep doing it.
He's fuming. He's fuming. I can see your blush for your blade. Just kidding.
I'll let you guys have your moments because, we're sitting pretty, man. I don't know why you're laughing, Tamim. Man's just come off 3 defeats, got slapped up by Chelsea,
early
last
days.
minute winner. So I don't know why you're laughing,
early
bro.
days.
And likewise, Mr. Man United fan / West Ham fan over here. I don't know why he's laughing either, man. What do I sitting pretty at the moment? So
we're laughing. You know what's going to happen later on.
Bold predictions, yeah. Bold predictions.
I know.
Yeah,
bold predictions.
Let's go into Chelsea versus Liverpool because that was the main highlight of the weekend. I did watch the Arsenal West Ham match from Turkey, so I wasn't at the stadium this weekend. Watching it legitly on Turkish beIN from my hotel room, so picture quality clear, which was nice. So mini crisis at Liverpool, or do you think it's been a bit overblown, Time? What's your thoughts? Estavio's last minute dagger to the hearts of Liverpool fans, following that Galatasaray defeat in the Champions League.
So I think I'll start with the Chelsea Liverpool game. I thought it was an entertaining game, from a football standpoint. I feel a draw would have been a fair result. I think we played well. It wasn't a terrible showing from us. But yeah, we still had the similar issues that we had in the previous games defensively, especially on the right side, which Chelsea exploited and sort of you mentioned before as well. A sort of tactical thing that stays up regardless of where the passage of play is, and Chelsea exploited that well. But I think in the first half we had 3 big chances. Salah should have put one away. Ekitike should have put one away. Even the stats show that we had a higher XG. It's not all about XG, but it does show that we did a lot of chances. And away from home, at the Bridge, I think even a draw would have been a good result. And we were there until obviously the dagger. I think even in a season where Klopp was managing us, we struggled against Chelsea, home or away. Man City struggled against Chelsea. They're not an easy team, regardless of how good or bad you're playing. It's always going to be a difficult game to go to the Bridge. And even if you're at your best, you could still potentially lose that game. So, it was from an emotional point of view. But from a logical, I think we played okay. And that could have gone either way. It was a very tight game. I'm not too fussed about that result. About the mini crisis, I think it's overblown. And there might be a bit of obviously bias and somewhat denial there. But I've said it's early days. It's really early days. It's only 8 games in total.
If we talk about Premier League games,
it's only... it's 3 defeats in a row. I think 2 of those can easily be explained. I think the only in that one is the Galatasaray one. And even that, there's explainable factors that could have led to that. It's not the biggest shock. Oh, the Crystal Palace game. Crystal Palace, great form, 18 games unbeaten, away to them. Again, Premier League's tough. Crystal Palace is an even tougher game than the average Premier League team. Going away there, even at our best, they could beat us. 100%. It could happen. What I was disappointed with the most was actually the first half performance. So defensively, we're rubbish. We gave away too many chances. That was more disappointing than the result itself. Obviously, the result is the most important thing. But had we played like really well and then lost, then it would have been less, of course. But first half, Palace were terrible. Second half, we played well, and we had good chances. Again, we had a couple of big chances that could have put away. We didn't ultimately in the end, so that's all that matters. But again, I was quite promised by that second half performance. Galatasaray, we should have beaten them, of course. Be a big gulf in quality there. We rest a lot of players, but even with resting players, a lot of our second team should still get the job done against Galatasaray. But they played really well. They were playing really sharply. They defended well as a unit. The atmosphere was brilliant. Again, that's a result that could go that way if the factors go that particular way. So those 3 games, if it's 10 games, I'm worried. 3 games early on where, we've had good results early in the season. We dominated Atletico. We played well against Arsenal in half. That's what gives me a lot of hope. We're second place. We're 1 point off the top. If like a mini crisis is 1 point off the top of the table, well, I don't mind. I'll take that.
But like the point is, I think maybe not yourself, but the Liverpool fans generally have been over-indexing those last-minute winners. Like going back to the Bournemouth match, which I did watch because it was the season opener. Liverpool got away with one there. Similarly with the Newcastle game, getting away with that win in the last second as kind of Newcastle pushing up for it. It's not.
I'll disagree. It's
not like you guys were battering them left, right, and centre and happened to get that goal. Similar to us at Newcastle, like it was pretty much one-way traffic as Newcastle kind of sitting deep. It was, and I think Jamie Carragher called you out on this as well. Or he called Slot out on this, funnily enough. That he likened it to like a basketball match. I don't normally agree with Jamie Carragher, but there was an element of truth to what he was saying. I felt anyway, but go on. You want to disagree?
Yeah, the bit I disagreed was no. I agree with your Newcastle. Yeah, it wasn't like we were destroying Newcastle, then we got last minute. Well, no, 100%. They dominated us. It was the other way around. So I won't disagree with you there. The bit I disagree with you is the Bournemouth game. We were the better team, in my opinion, anyway. From what I remember, how much we dominated, how many chances we had versus how many chances Bournemouth had. It felt like that winner was coming. I think it seems like it's easy to sort of see it as like a win because of the context of the winner. So if it's always last minute win, everyone will naturally feel like, oh, that's a bit lucky, But ultimately, we won the game in the 90 minutes. Regardless of whether you score in the 95th minute or if you score in the 50th minute, you still scored the winner. It's just the fact that we scored the winner in the 90th minute. That's what makes it look like, oh, they're getting away with it sort of thing. But again, we're dominating the game, and any one of those 4 or 5 chances, it could have happened in the 80th minute, 70th minute, 95th minute. Any one of those could have gone in. So, I disagree on that. The Bournemouth game, but Newcastle game, I do agree with you there. Arsenal game. I think the Arsenal game is good showing. If we were, if there is a crisis going on, I think we would get destroyed. Arsenal. If we're really in a crisis, we wouldn't have. I don't think we'd have given Arsenal a good game.
For both teams, that game was too early on in the season. Both teams,
it's only a few weeks ago.
I was going to say, we early on this. We are at the early stage of the season.
It was in August. We're in October now.
How many games have been played in the season?
It was in August.
How many games have been played in the season so far?
End of August.
How many games have we had so far? How many games have we had, Danyaal? How many games?
Regardless.
8 games. Okay. It's still very early stage in the season, bro.
It's still early. I think this is early on. The Tottenham game was early on.
No. The point that I was trying to make, right, that both teams aren't in their groove. Both Arsenal and Liverpool are both in their groove.
100%. But you can say that in the present.
The explanation. So I'm not calling it an excuse, but the explanation for Liverpool for their patchy form, should we say, is that they're a team in transition. They're a team in transition. Well,
no, they're not. They're not a team of transition. That's BS.
No, but this is what Liverpool pundits are saying, and a lot of the Liverpool fans are saying that as well. They're a team in transition. They brought in Ekitike, they brought in Isak, they brought in Wirtz, they brought in Kirkes, Frimpong.
007.
Exactly. It's like 008, 009 now.
I wouldn't say transition. I wouldn't say transition. Imagine trying to implement 6 first teamers out of 11. That's more than 50%. That's gonna. Remember, I said we're gonna start slow. Nothing I'm saying hasn't come true. I said I predict we're gonna start slow. We're gonna look quite dodgy, and it's gonna take a bit of time to implement even the likes of Isak in, because Isak didn't even have a preseason. That's why he's gonna come. He's quality players. They're quite good in my opinion.
The same reasons and the same excuses should be leveled at Arsenal.
I don't think they're excuses. We're bad. Yeah. Any team.
I agree. Well, not any team. I mean, like Arsenal have signed a similar amount of players in terms of adding to the squad. Man City also as well. The amount of turnover they've had since January, trying to cope without Rodri as well. Like they're also kind of in the shout, I think, and the media kind of painting them as dark horses, which is kind of funny.
United's been transitioning for the last 15 years. This year's all year. Then they lose to flipping Brentford. Okay, maybe next year. I mean, look, I'm just looking at the results. I think, of the 2 games that Liverpool lost, the 97th and the 95th minute, that game could have gone either way. We wouldn't be having this discussion if Liverpool pulled home those last-minute screamers. My only concern is that if Liverpool have 3 defeats to get to them, that they're just going to go in a slump. And this is where Arsenal can easily take the league if they actually keep winning. If Arsenal take their foot off the pedal or think, it's fine, we drew, but Liverpool lost, forget it. Still, Arsenal's going to make this. This is a perfect opportunity for Arsenal to really put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
because Liverpool's dropped 6 points. I think it's massive in the context of the league.
Again, we mentioned this after the Crystal Palace match, and the fact that we won in the last minute versus Newcastle. But like that could have been an 8-point swing. And now the fact that again, we're probably by a point.
Yeah,
it's made, and I was discussing it with a Hall fan earlier on today. It's made the league a lot more interesting. Last year, there was this overall feeling there wasn't much jeopardy. Like Arsenal basically had fallen out of the title race by December. I would say as soon as Saka did his hamstring, the league was done from an Arsenal perspective.
I think that was your opinion. That's your opinion. I think you're still in that. I think you were still in there beyond January because you remember when we lost? Was it to Fulham or Tottenham? We lost to someone. Then it cut to 5 points, and you could have made it 2 if you had beaten West Ham. But then Lewis Skelly got red card.
You'd drawn.
No, you're still in it.
You had drawn to you had drawn to Everton in the last minute, and I think you had drawn. You had also drawn to I want to say Newcastle, but I can't remember your results that well.
There were 2 bad results on the trot. Yeah, and that
gave
an opportunity.
What I'm saying is, if it's my point, what I'm saying is Arsenal lost Saka, who's their star man, their star player. It's the equivalent of Liverpool losing Salah. As soon as he done his hamstring, he had to have surgery. It was looking pretty dark from an Arsenal perspective, and mentally, I think that was a lot for the players to take. I don't want to relitigate last season, but
can I make a point about what you said about the swings weekend? Can I make a point about that? Yeah. So like I've been sort of arguing the point that I think we're in a mini crisis. I think it's going to all come good. It's everything out. But on the swing side of how you're saying if we had won that game against Chelsea and you guys had didn't get that winner against Newcastle, it would have been an 8-point gap. as I'm saying, vice versa, it's still early days. Us being 8 points ahead of you would have wrapped it up. So I make that both ways. Like it's still early days. Even if we're taking a massive lead, it's still early days. Overarching point is that it's early days. It's very early days. This is nothing.
I agree.
In a few weekends, we'll be having a very different conversation where I'm in a good mood and you're not. And so, it can easily happen.
Yeah, of course.
In football.
I agree. Obviously, it's the nature of football, but I think like if I'm reflecting back on last season, I remember having this feeling like it's not going to be our year. Soon after we drew 2, funny enough, like I think Salah equalised in the 82nd or 83rd minute, and it was like these are the sort of games that if you want to win the league, you need to be beating your title rivals in. Yeah. Similarly, like again, we had a number of draws quite early in the season. Brighton, Man City, when we had players sent off. All of these kind of games build up, and it makes a difference. Like psychologically, it makes a difference.
Yeah,
I
agree.
That was my point, really. There's been some criticism. We haven't even spoken about the Arsenal West Ham game, but we'll touch on it in a second. There's been some criticism on Slot since we're talking about Liverpool. So I just want to read out what I've got from another Liverpool fan, quite critical of Slot. He said, one thing I've noticed with him, i.e. Slot, is he never takes accountability for the losses. Last week, he threw a certain man under the bus. So I assume he was referring to Ekitike when he criticised him for being stupid for taking his top off against Southampton. And then he followed up with that by saying, we were dominating all 3 games this week, and I wanted to hear what you had to say about the tactics because there's been no improvement. And funny enough, like I pointed this out to you as well on our WhatsApp chat about the criticism that Arteta gets for supposedly being defensive-minded versus Slot. So Arteta, Slot in the 83rd, 84th minute for an endo. Again, which you could view as being a defensive-minded thing to try and shore up and secure that draw. In the same breath, if Mikel ever did something like that, he gets criticised for haram ball, right? Again, you made the point that it's because Arteta hasn't won anything yet, but I want to get your thoughts just generally on that point of criticism of Slot.
And all right, I do agree with you. There should be consistency, but we know with human beings, professional fans, there never will be. Where flawed is, they're always going to be a bit like, I'm not saying myself, but I'm just saying the general football community. They will judge Arteta a bit more harshly, in my opinion, until he wins either a Champions League or a Premier League. Anything he does that it end up being a draw or a loss, everyone's going to always point fingers like, there you go, Arteta's not done it again, sort of thing. Unfortunately, that it's not an Arsenal thing. I think it's just any big team that has a big manager that hasn't maybe won title yet. I think it's just what happened. So I think Slot. I haven't seen all the post-match reviews, I'll be honest with you. If what you're saying is true, him never sort of mentioning about tactics and taking any... 100%. He does need to own up to not managing the games very well and losing the games. Yeah, I do agree with that. I do disagree that, the point about calling out Ekitike. I don't think there's plenty of top managers call out their players, and even more harsh sort of Slot did with Ekitike, because I think Ekitike was pretty stupid with that. I don't disagree with what Slot was saying there. He's young. He did add to the fact that Ekitike is young, and he had some positive words there. So it wasn't fully negative, and it wasn't fully like, I'm going to drop him. I think he's really and he shouldn't have done etc. It was quite in my opinion, it was quite balanced. But yeah,
bro,
if he's not been taken,
like it was a Champions League final, man. He scored a third round goal against Southampton.
yeah, see what I mean? That is pretty stupid, isn't it? That is pretty stupid. So like, yeah, I do get slots angry. So
and
yeah.
there was also criticism. He didn't name the player, but he said someone was too attack minded in the Chelsea match as well. So he didn't publicly call out which player it was, but he had some criticism. And if I'm not mistaken, Slot has had some history of letting the pressure get to him at PSV. Which kind of runs.
I don't know that too well, but you probably know that. Yeah.
I
was going to say, you probably know that more than me, but I don't know how it went with PSV. No.
TalkSport released a bit of a viral clip today with Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy, essentially saying that the league last year was mediocre. Arsenal fell away, Man City fell away. He basically had a serene run to the title, and this year is his year in terms of his players, the players that he's brought in for his own team. I mean, what's your take on that, Tamim? Dawg as well.
So my take on that is. Should I go first, Dawg?
You go, bro.
So my take on it is, I think he's wrong. Obviously, I'd say that, but I believe I've got legitimate reasons for that. I don't think winning any title is easy. I think any league title, and you even made the point yourself. I think this must have been a couple of years ago, but you said like winning is hard, and we know that. That's quite an obvious point to make. But I think regardless of whether one team or two teams had a mediocre season, it's hard to win a title. It's hard to win Champions Leagues. It's hard to win trophies. I don't think it was easy at all to win in the league last season for Slot to come into a new team. As a whole thing about Klopp's team. Klopp's team that season before Slot came in didn't even win the league. It's not like we inherited a winning team already. The midfield we had when Szoboszlai was settling in, McAllister, even Endo was new at that. Birch was seen as a fringe player. What he did with Gravenberch was brilliant. So, Klopp couldn't get the best out of Gravenberch at all. There's plenty of games where we were losing 1-0, and we came back in the second half to win 2-1 after a few substitutions that Slot made. Slot substitution was made as a thing, like it was seen as a really big thing, like a game changer. We beat Real Madrid 2-0 that season that came in. Klopp couldn't Madrid at all in any of the attempts he was there. That was actually one bogey team of his. So what did Slot do differently? It was a very different game. So tactically, it wasn't a case of you guys know what you're doing, your Klopp's team, you go just play your I don't have to do anything. Like I said, Klopp didn't win the league the season before Slot came, so that's a flawed argument there. The whole points thing about he only matched Klopp's points the season before, that is also flawed because not every season is the same. We had the league by game 33, 34, and we didn't win any games after that. So it's not like a case of we matched the same points. We had already won the title and then we fell off a bit. Whereas we were heading probably towards 90, but still going to maintain a title challenge. Like, do you really think we would have lost if we were still in the title race in game 34? I don't think we'd have lost every game. I think we'd have still carried on our form. So the whole point's talking about him matching the same, he only got the same total. That's flawed because we had won the title very early on. So actually, there's going to be a dip. So yeah, but then, I think it's very
that could be leveled. That could be leveled at a weaker league, right? The fact that everyone had fallen off. But I mean, like again, there was no title race.
Stupidity, man.
Slightly weaker league compared to maybe the season before or the season before. But again, it's never easy to win the league. You still have to be the best team out of the 20 there. Have to be the best.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, Slot said that one of the best gifts that Klopp gave him was the fact that his team finished third the season before and fifth the season before that. But like the point kind of remains, like the spine of that team was your 2020 title winning side. Salah's still there, and Salah went absolutely nuclear last season. Van Dijk and
that plays
Alisson
well.
Becker. The spine of that team was there, essentially.
You could use that argument about Manchester United, though. When they won the league with Ferguson in the last season, they had all these awesome players. And then the moment Moyes came in, they finished 7th. So you know what, with all due respect to TalkSport, I don't really respect their opinion, because I'm sure if Graham Potter or Frank Lampard did what Slot did, then they'll both be singing songs of praise. But I think Slot does deserve a lot of respect for what he has done. The pressure was on him to perform, because this is the same team that won the year before. And had they not won anything, they would have obviously leveled more criticism, saying, well, you've come in and ruined something, or you've brought bad luck. So I think he does deserve a bit of, credit for doing that. It's not easy, especially in the league the way it is now, especially the way Man City and Arsenal have been preparing for the last couple of years. So yeah, forget TalkSport. Their opinion. I mean, you notice this yourself with pundits. The moment a manager loses 1 or 2 games on the trot, the knives are out. They start saying, "Oh, they're not good. They're not good. They're not good." It's just rubbish. It's background noise.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you make a good point, in my opinion, about what you said about the pressure. I think that's a great point you made, Ozzy. Everyone's thinking, oh, he's coming into a Klopp team, it should be an easy ride. But on the other end of the spectrum, like you said, that's big to feel like what Klopp did, and the amount of respect that he has in the city of Liverpool, like the amount of pressure that was on Slot to, like you said, to do what he not only settle in quickly, but to win the league. That is a brilliant job, in my opinion.
And a lot of players could
he
have
handled the pressure well.
And a lot of players could have taken him coming in as, maybe I can bounce now. Maybe I've done my bit and I can. And I think it's testament to him as a manager that he's actually managed to keep them together and still win something. Because with him winning something, a lot of players are going to say, all right, we can still invest in the future. So yeah, I think he deserves a lot more credit. I mean, but then you have Man United, David Moyes, 7th, with Van Persie in the side and Wayne Rooney. Not good enough. Wait, no, that wasn't it. That was Van Gaal, wasn't it? No, Van Persie was still
Moyes
wasn't
was
it?
straight off.
And then he left with Van Gaal. Yeah, exactly. So 2 different goals for managers, but there we go.
Interesting points. Okay, well, we've spent literally, it's basically been the Liverpool podcast for the last 20 minutes. So let's talk about Arsenal West Ham. It was a very mundane win for Arsenal, and I mean that in the highest terms. I feel like you need serenity when it comes to winning a title. You need these boring wins. Like, if you think back to some of the Man City title-winning teams, they had a lot of these games where they essentially constricted the side to 1-2-0 wins frequently. Restricting the opposition to barely anything. The one thing which a lot of attack-minded Arsenal fans really, really wanted was basically all-out attack. So that midfield, a lot of Arsenal fans were salivating at the idea of Eze, Ødegaard, Declan Rice, the fact that Martin Zubimendi was on the bench. But with 20 minutes in, Ødegaard gets a knock on his knee, trying to get the ball back from Somerville, and in a very weird way, it kind of helped Arsenal. It was a bit of a basketball match, funnily enough, until Zubimendi came onto the pitch. Firstly, I have to feel for Ødegaard, because every time he gets onto that pitch at the Emirates, it just feels like we're seeing his number come up and him coming off the pitch. So yeah, I mean, that's, again, it's quite unfortunate. It's not a muscular injury. It's all the injuries that he's had, 2 shoulder injuries. Now the club confirmed it's an MCL. For our club captain, especially after his performances against Olympiacos and Newcastle, which we haven't even spoken about, by the way. Again, a very kind of 1-0 win against Olympiacos, which you just kind of forget about, a very kind of routine sort of win. You kind of posed a question to me, Tamim, about Arsenal being title favourites. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Dawg? And I'll go with you first.
Tamim, you want to go first?
No, you go first. I'll go for it.
The only reason Arsenal fans are salivating is because of the age verification stuff that's come onto all the online naughty websites. Arsenal needed to win like this. If Arsenal are going to win the league, they need to pull out something from the Mourinho handbook, which are the boring wins, which are you get the job done. As I said, it doesn't matter what type of football Arsenal's playing. What they should be focusing on is get the points, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, if they can play attacking football, fantastic. Imagine if Arsenal played attacking football, they're winning 2-0, and then in the 93rd and 95th minute, West Ham scores 2 goals and they equalise. Suddenly they were too attacking, With all due respect to Arsenal fans that are complaining about the style of play, pipe up. If you want your team to win the league, these are the sort of games you guys need to win. And so, people criticise Mourinho saying he loves to park the bus, but then ultimately he was able to win a few leagues by doing so. If Arsenal needs to change their tactic, so be it, So I wouldn't see any issue with it. I don't think this is a time for Arsenal fans to even be criticising the notion of how they're playing. They should be celebrating the fact that, okay, they've beaten a bogey team that they could have easily have lost to or lost points against, but they managed to secure a win, even if it's boring. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a demon there that they kind of vanquished because we've lost against West Ham 2 years in a row at home, specifically 1-0 last season and I think it was 2-0 the season before, which 100% put the nail in our title hopes when we lost against West Ham last year in February. What's your thoughts, Tamim?
Yeah, a lot of what Ozzy says, I agree with that, actually. I do think Arsenal are favourites. What I was sort of saying earlier about the fact that I think Liverpool are going through a mini crisis. I wasn't sort of like, while I don't think there's a huge amount to worry about, there is still the realistic question of whether we're going to pull it together in time and get a long win streak going, match Arsenal's form, because I think Arsenal right now are a well-oiled team. They play very well. They've implemented their system, and Arteta obviously has a philosophy that he had from day one. It's not like he's been trying to chop and change things too much. Like, you could say the striker situation, or perhaps attacking minded he is, and then how conservative he became a little bit later on. But his philosophy is always about controlling the game, dictating possession, being the team with the better dribbling, better passing ability. All that has remained the same, and I think we're seeing a well-oiled machine here. So I think, I do think Arsenal are slight favourites right now. How we are, what position we are in right now, with all the factors we have, where you guys are right now. I think you guys are slightly ahead in terms of meshing it all together. I think you are ahead in that department, and that goes a long way. Like you said, yeah. No, go for it.
No, I interrupted. Please carry on. I interrupted you, bro. Sorry.
Pretty much was just wrapping up there. Yeah, just think because of that reason where you guys are all pretty much all meshed. I think like I said, repeated earlier in the podcast, Liverpool will come good, but will it be in time? Will the defensive issues be fixed? Are reinforcements needed for the defensive issues? That is also a question to. I do think we still got a couple of questions we need to ask ourselves before we put ourselves favourite, and so that's why I think Arsenal.
Danyaal, you may hear this, but the only way Arsenal are going to win the league is if they win every game. Try not to think about other teams losing points, because even if Arsenal were to draw and Liverpool lose, 2 points is a big difference between 3 points, even though it's marginal. And so Arsenal needs to just have that attitude of just winning as much as I hate them. and I know that Arsenal shouldn't be depending on how others are doing to succeed. And I think that's why Man City's won the way they've won. I think that's why Liverpool won the way they won. You have to just be ruthless.
I disagree, man. You don't win the league just based on your own results. Like it's the whole point of the league is that there's jeopardy involved, and you have to rely to a certain degree on
that's trauma. That's typical. That's typical. Finsbury Park, Holloway Road, 22 years without a title trauma. That's what it is. I know. You and I both know. Come January, come February, if Arsenal's top of the league but Liverpool's behind them by a couple of points, you'll be behind Liverpool, and that's why Arsenal. Yourself. If Arsenal at the top of the league come February time and they've only got a couple of points lead ahead of Liverpool, even though they'll be top, you and I both know that Arsenal fans will be shitting it. They'll be panicking a lot more than Liverpool fans. And that's the problem with Arsenal, is that they're too focused on pressure, they're coming up. Just win the bloody game, man. Do what Harry Redknapp, do what Mick McCarthy does. Go on, kick the bloody ball, win the fucking game, lad. I don't know why Arsenal. I mean, I can tell you're anxious because this year could potentially be a year, but it's all hypothetical unless Arsenal actually just focuses on what they need to do from their end. They can't be expecting Liverpool to drop games. If Liverpool do drop games now, I don't think they'll recover. Because right now, if they're vulnerable, if the next 5 games, if they drop maybe 2 or 3 more games, and that's it, you could say that they're probably out of the race to an extent. I mean, you wouldn't count them as favourites, but again, Arsenal and just
go back to what you said earlier. It's still early days, right?
It is early days, yeah. But that's why I feel like Arsenal should be focusing purely on the fact that what do we need to do as a team? We just need to win. That's all it is. Even if they win an ugly game 1-0. I'd much rather take a 1-0 win over we played attacking football, lost 4-3 or something stupid like that. You told me that Liverpool, the games that they won last minute haven't been ugly wins. They have been. Nobody wants to win last minute, but they still got the points in the bag. And that's the difference between winning the league and not winning the league.
I don't know you guys, man. I do love the last minute winner. Everyone loves the last minute.
Yeah, we do. But when your club needs to win a Premier League for the first time in over 20 odd years, let's be honest, you'd much rather win with comfort than as much as we all want another QPR moment, Aguero type thing. I think the time is now for Arsenal to win something. I think most of the fans will be, yourself included. I think you guys will be too broken if you don't win anything this year. And I don't say that in a rude way, man. I'd be annoyed as well. I'm saying this from a perspective of a Pakistan cricket supporter. I'm broken after we lost so many finals recently. I don't care. But I watch Gaelic now instead, bruv. I watch air hockey. I don't care about cricket anymore, bruv. That's why I'm on this podcast doing football. I don't even like football, bruv.
He's stuck with us two now. He's stuck with us too.
I'm literally stuck in the middle. I'm like the meat between a really bad sandwich. Oh, man. Brilliant. But Tamim, you can tell he's anxious though, isn't it? He is nervous, isn't it? He's
yeah. I can see it. I can feel it from the screen. It's the battery he's doing.
I'm pretty serene. It's October, man. The nerves start to kick in around about March, April time when
you're anxious about injuries as well. I know you are. I know you're anxious about injuries because every single year
he's got PTSD from injuries.
There's been one person that gets injured and you're like, the season's gone. Not this time. If one person gets injured, Arsenal should still stay. Screw it, we're gonna win the league, man. You gotta do it, man.
He'll wake us up at 5 a.m. with the message about Madueke getting injured.
Exactly. For those of you watching, for all 3 of you watching at home, this guy drops me messages at 2 o'clock in the morning. Instead of delivering dawa and telling me to come to the good side, he starts trolling me, starts saying all these bad things. I've been getting no caller ID calls at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if it's my ex. Please call me back. Let's have a chat. Or it's Danyaal calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning. But this guy, man, it's affecting him a lot. The room's not red. That's just all his anger. And his he's been bashing his head in the wall and
where the walls are painted red.
Just to cover up with the blood stains from you smacking your head in the wall. It's fine. Nobody will notice my pain.
20 years of trauma. I'm pretty calm. I have faith that we're going to win something big this year.
Exactly, be like George Michael. Gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Whereas Man United like that Drake FC
should be the intro music.
Yeah, United like Drake FC, bruv. Started from the bottom and they're still bloody at the bottom, bruv.
United, long way to go, man. United. And I think, early days, but you guys are looking good. You guys are looking good.
Yeah, I'm feeling confident in our side and our team. And you know what? Even if we didn't win against Newcastle, I would have still had the same kind of level of serenity, if that makes sense.
It's a big win, though. Massive win.
Yeah, it was.
It's a big win.
It was huge. And it's just these little things in the Tower. But like you boys said, it's Still very, very early days. Like the league really starts to take shape by Christmas Day. You get an idea who's going to be in the title race.
But I think 99% of football PL supporters would probably say Arsenal's biggest enemy isn't any other team; it's themselves. This is always they always find a way to kind of undo themselves, man. And so I think if they can get these important wins like Newcastle, like Brentford, Chelsea, Man United, whatever, then you probably back them. Nobody's talking that much about Man City though. That's what surprises me. I feel like they're going to slowly creep up with that.
Yeah, dark horses, you know. After their season they had, you know. Yeah.
They're
dark horses.
They lost against Brighton. They lost against Tottenham very, very early on. Rodri was just kind of making a bit of a comeback. And again, I wouldn't say they're looking like Man City of old because they've lost a lot of key components, like mainly De Bruyne.
Kyle Walker. They've not filled that.
Kyle Walker. Even
Gundogan as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Even Edison going to Galatasaray, you know, a ball-playing goalkeeper, switching them from kind of more traditional goalie in Donnarumma. It's very Manchester City-like. It's very un-Pep-like.
Yeah.
And Rodri just picked up another knock again. So he could be out for another 4 or 5 weeks. Again, they're 3 points behind Arsenal.
It's Man City, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's Man City.
Like, you know, you can never ever rule
it's
them
insulting
out.
to even call them. To even call them dark horses is a bit of an insult to them, considering what they've done. They've won, you know, a hatload of league titles in the last decade, and it's Pep Guardiola. So, you know, yeah, like you said, they're not looking at their best, and it's not the Man City of the old, but you can never rule them out because it's Man City. You know, they've dominated the league.
I do think Pep will probably leave City though if he doesn't win anything this year. I can't see him staying in long, you know. Yeah, maybe Graham Potter will go.
He's looking at the end. He's looking.
Maybe Sam Allardyce going to.
Okay, so we've got this comment. Arsenal are a set-piece team, 4 centre-backs and 3 CDMs. Liverpool FC don't know the system. Style of play, 1 point behind Arsenal and need to gel. Yeah, well, I disagree on the set-piece team bit.
I agree.
AR saying cricket's a dead sport.
Cricket's
dead I agree sport. I know nothing about cricket.
But you don't have a profile picture, but you're dead. You look like
I agree with AR, man.
You look like you're on more.
AR has hit the nail on the head.
No, but I love cricket. Is that actually a real person commenting? It's not. It's sorry. After you.
No. Yeah.
Is that actually a real person commenting? Interrupting. Go, Tamim. Sorry.
It must be the internet signal again. I think Kalpesh's Wi-Fi is interfering with mine.
Like, don't disturb me. I'm working. Go, Tamim. Answer the question. You're getting trolled online, bro.
Okay. Well, no, it's the point of what I was saying before about finding rhythm, finding our system, and the fact that we're still only off regardless of those factors. Yeah. Early days is my overarching point. Arsenal set piece team. Yeah, it's a bit of an insult to Arsenal. They are more than that. You know, the meme is still there. You're still winning some games with your set pieces, so you will be called a set piece team.
But for centre backs, well, there's an element of truth to that because Mikel does love a generic centre back, three CDM thing. Like, but I have to disagree with that. AR.
Yeah.
But thanks for your comment. Yeah. Appreciate you dropping into our stream.
And cricket isn't a dead sport, yeah? Allow it, bro. Wait, but seriously, all talk that. I mean, sorry, just before we kind of segue from the agenda, are people really saying that Liverpool don't know their system just because of 3 bad games? They're the champions, man. They won last season. I'm sure they know how to play. You know, I don't get it why people are just... Are they really that kind of despised all of a sudden? They can't be all over the place, man. I refuse to believe that, man.
It's short-sighted. So football nowadays, more so now than 20 years ago, I think people flip to opinions so quickly. I think
they do.
I think it's just humanity in general. We're quick to make presumptions, quick to sort of get emotional and say, "Oh, this is it," you know. And it's in the grand scheme of things, it's only it's like not even a quarter of the way into the season. I think we're just humanity in general is just short-sighted.
Philosophical Tamim, what's going on here, bro? You sounded like, what's going on?
All right, I'm gonna go meditate for a few minutes, and I'll come back again.
You seem levitating in the air. Sorry, Danyaal. Digress too much.
There was an interesting stat which you boys had kind of mocked me on over.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, please reveal it.
Arteta had won the same amount of games Klopp had done in 300 games. So Tamim posed a question: is it a good stat for Arteta, or is it ultimately meaningless? All right, Dawg, I'll let you go first, and then I'll counter it. Go on.
It's meaningless. I'll tell you what it is. Let me give you a better example. Yeah, Arteta's been on 300 first dates, and he hasn't scored with any of the girls. Klopp has been on 300 first dates, and he's gotten lucky as well. That's the difference, okay? A person that goes on that many dates, is not considered a viable partner. There's something wrong with them, okay? I'm not referring to myself, Please don't believe me, I'm not referring to... If you go on that many dates and you're not succeeding, if you're not scoring at the end, okay, something's wrong with you. Klopp, that's kind of how I see it. It's a great stat, amazing, but then it's all ultimately going to be tarnished by the fact that Arteta hasn't taken home the silverware. Yeah, there's the FA Cup, which we should still respect. It is an important competition. But given where Arteta has been in terms of where Arsenal have been in the league last couple of years, I guess you could just look at it and say, you know what, it's a shame. It's a disappointment. But it's also quite telling that Arsenal have been underperforming in that sense. You would think, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, if Klopp was managing those same Arsenal teams, he would have probably won the league.
I disagree.
No. You're meant to disagree because you know.
You have to understand that the club was in complete disarray when Arteta had taken over Arsenal. We were lounging in 8th. In fact, we were bottom half of the table, funnily enough. We were in the bottom half of the table. This was pre-COVID.
I remember,
December 2019. He took over from both Unai Emery and then Freddie Ljungberg. We had the likes of Mustafi, Socrates, Say Kolasinac, David Luiz, Mattia Guendouzi. No.
Lack of threat. Did you call him lack of threat instead of lack of zep?
Yeah, that was one of his names. That was one of his names.
Sorry, bro. Sorry. Sorry, Daniel. Carry on.
Sorry, Daniel.
We were complete and utter shambles. Again, I've been very, very critical of Unai Emery's reign in particular over Arsenal, considering his only remit was to get top 4 and bring us back to the Champions League. We had no Champions League football for a long time, and obviously, like most Arsenal fans did, especially in the early days of his reign, but we had our doubts over Arteta. This was a rookie manager who'd never managed a single game in his entire career, and what he did in the space of 3 seasons was unify a fan base that was completely split, take us from, as I said, the bottom half of the table, win us an FA Cup, which against all odds, beating Manchester City, beating Chelsea en route, and then essentially transforming that club entirely in his image, to get us challenging for a top 4 place, with a team that people just did not rate and did not have any hope in. But from the inside, Arsenal could see what Arteta was doing in terms of bringing in the young blood, bringing in young players who are hungry. We got in Ben White, we got in William Saliba at the time. Saka was just coming through. Arteta moved his position from being a left back to a right winger. Emile Smith-Rowe. The connection with the club was really, really strong, both from the players. So to get us there back into a Champions League spot. Now, I think Arsenal caught everyone by surprise in that 22-23 season. We brought in Zinchenko, we brought in Gabriel Jesus. People were expecting Arsenal to challenge for top four again. No one was expecting Arsenal to go for the title. We exceeded expectations in that year by a mile. And if there was one season which you could probably level the bottling accusation at, it was probably there. But again, there was reasons for that. We lost our elite world-class defender in William Saliba and had to replace him with Rob Holding, who, no disrespect to Rob Holding, he's currently playing championship football. And we were going against a treble-winning Manchester City side. This was the Manchester City side that won the treble that season.
But they shouldn't have. But carry on, sorry.
But yeah, regardless, this was a City side that won the treble. That was a peak Man City side, which, you know, they won the treble essentially. And if Arsenal were not in that title race and just kind of pipped top four on the last day of the season, people said, "Oh, what a fantastic year it was for Arteta!" Like he finally got Arsenal back into the Champions League. The following season, Arteta kind of learned that he had to kind of compete with City, and he tried to steal us up. We got 89 points. He lost Jurrien Timber on the first game of the season, which I do believe if we had Timber for the entire duration of that year, we win the league that year. Like he's shown this season just how good he is. We would have got those 2 points from either one of the Fulham games or West Ham matches that we dropped points in. Yes, we didn't win the league.
But maybe,
of course. Look, we didn't win the league, but again, Manchester City were already knocked out of the UCL at that point. They lost against Real Madrid on penalties, so they could literally just focus on the league. Arsenal, however, on the other hand, we had the Villa match in between our two Bayern Munich ties, and Arteta took off Ødegaard, who had a bit of a knock, and put in Smith Rowe. And ultimately, we ended up losing that game 2-0 in the last 10 minutes, which again, it cost us the league that year. There's no doubt about it. Last year, again, to even make the joke that was a bottling, like we weren't in the race at all. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's a very different set of circumstances for where Arsenal have come from compared to other clubs. But go on, Tamim, you disagree?
Yeah. So on a few points, the last one that you made, I'll start with that one. I disagree that you weren't in the race last season. Yeah, you had last season. Arteta would have been at the club. Was it 5 or 6 years by that point? I think you would have invested enough money into the squad, regardless of injuries, to have been in the race. And what I mentioned, a key games where you were still near, you were sort of 5 points away from us. And when we started dropping points against Everton and those draws, that's little mini slump that we had, and you could have caught up with us against teams that you should have probably beaten, or ideally in a title race, you should be beating those teams. You didn't beat those teams. So I think that came down to now that those particular games, you know, there are probably reasons. I'm not saying it's Arteta's fault, but it could be Arteta's maybe bad luck. It could be other reasons why you didn't win those games, but you were in the race, in my opinion, last season. And on Arteta, the whole topic of has Arteta done a good job and what you're saying, I agree with a lot of it. I think Arteta has done a very good job. Like you said, he unified the team, and you guys were a bit of a meme club at that point, you know, Arsenal Fan TV, all the stuff that was going on with like dropping out Champions League for a few years. Yeah, you weren't doing great. You weren't doing great at all. Did get you guys back on top consistently, get you guys back in the title race, which you hadn't done in a long time. So he's done good in that. But then at the same time, like I said, he's been given a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of investment. And in those 5-6 years, there were a couple of times where you could even say Arsenal fans wanted him gone at one point, maybe halfway his tenure so far. The point, wasn't it, when I think it was just before that title, the first title that he had, they wanted him gone. But then,
Yeah.
fair play, he
No,
had a better season the next season.
I
I just think the amount of money
yeah.
invested, he's done a good job, but not a great job. I think
Not
there's
the-
plenty of backing he's had, plenty of time. And
Go on, Danyaal, I'll respond before I
Yeah,
jump.
it's not for me like the money spent. It's not a stick to beat him with. It's about like if you're going to do that, like you can look at a poorly run club like Manchester United, even Chelsea, like the amount of money that they've been spending. Gary Neville's comment about £2 billion bottle jobs. The amount of money that they spent to get that team. Again, for me, Chelsea were in that race as well last year, and I think I might mention this on offline as well. They were a few points behind you guys as well. Like us and Chelsea were kind of neck and neck at one point until Chelsea fell away.
Yeah.
In December.
I'd say the same to Chelsea. The same to Chelsea. They've had enough investment that they should be. Chelsea should be in the title race. I'd give the same argument.
But then you could argue with Chelsea though that they've still won the Champions League in the last couple of years. They've managed to do something with
4
the
years
team.
ago.
They've managed to do something with the team that you wouldn't even hype up. Something that's eluded Arsenal for such a long time. And look, as much as I can appreciate Arteta what he's done, like I appreciate the philosophy. I think he's probably given a lot more leeway and respect because he's a former Arsenal player. Look, for me, I've grown up always seeing Arsenal Titan team. They've never been a small club to me. But then when I hear these narratives about Arsenal's a big club, but then they haven't won anything, and then when you're now saying about we were down the dumps and stuff, it's like, well, how Arsenal were during that period of transition has not been any different to how they've been in the last 15, 20 years. They've always kind of like been struggling to contend. As much as I admire what he's done, I think what annoys me is that it's the hype surpasses the achievement. He's a good manager, but then I worry more so that whilst he's united the fan base, if he goes or if he doesn't win anything this year, some of Arsenal's key players are going to go. I can definitely see Martinelli leaving for a Barcelona, Real Madrid type side. I don't know why. I just got that feeling. I think if he loses key players, if the Arteta project falls apart, then I do wonder where Arsenal are going to go as a club.
Well,
I hope that doesn't happen. I'd like them to win, man. Just as a neutral, just kind of saying like, in terms of natural justice, it'll be good for them to win. Yeah.
I think the proof is in the pudding, right? In terms of key players, if there was a player who would have left, it would have been William Saliba. He 100% he had the opportunity to go to Real Madrid last summer, and he re-signed a couple of weeks ago.
How many year contract?
So he signed up until 2030.
Really?
And he made the point. Someone asked him about Trent, funnily enough, and he made the point. It was like Trent had already won the UCL and Premiership with Liverpool. I haven't won anything here yet. And again, he's a boyhood Gooner. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan. So at the end of the day, he could have gone, and he hasn't. Gabriel has re-signed as well. Saka is close to signing from what some of the ITKs are saying. A new contract has been laid out for Jurriën Timber. David Raya as well has got improved terms. So these players are buying into Arteta's philosophy. This isn't players who have checked out mentally with him. Again, one thing that Arteta has done over the years has kind of been learning from his mistakes. I feel, even if it is kind of a bit late in some ways, he learned he needed to be physical to not get bullied after that first title race. So he got a really physical player in the likes of Havertz and Timber. He learned that you can't rely on 13 players last year, and went and got a backup for Saka. He went and got a backup for Saliba. He went and got a backup for both Timber, Lewis Skelly, and Calafiori. So yeah, he's someone who's learning, and people forget that this is his first ever managerial job. So I think people in world football generally regard Arteta as being elite in terms of what he's doing, in terms of his tactics. Again, none of it kind of matters to a certain degree until he wins something big. But if Arsenal end up winning a cup double, we end up winning the Carabao Cup and FA Cup.
That's an achievement. I'd rate that. Seriously, I would.
Yeah. I mean, certain fans will still want him out. Like it's good, but it's ultimately not enough. It's not the league. It's not.
It'll be underwhelming for what he's done, and it'll be underwhelming for Arsenal as a club. Let's be honest. I mean, Manchester United. I mean, one thing I think the reason why Arteta is succeeding is because the club is backing him ultimately, and the club is willing to take risks for his philosophy to apply. Manchester United is just Stevie Wonder FC. They've got no clue where they're going, man. I'm telling you.
I think that's a good transition point to talk about Man United.
Man United. There is
no. Only because Ratcliffe made some comments at the beginning of the week, citing Arteta, saying that look at where Arsenal were under Arteta, especially after the first 50 games or whatever it was, and then Sky Sports put a graphic up showing the comparison between the two. And if you actually look at the win percentage, is even during Arteta's kind of dodgy little period, he still had a win percentage over the 50 games of 54%. Still considerably higher than Amorim, especially on the goals conceded bit.
But it comes down to what I said before, that the managers that Manchester United are getting are not bad managers. You cannot say that to me. I mean, I read a statistic about Højlund. He scored 4 or 6 games for United and 6 goals for United in about 25-30 games, and yet he's already managed to score 6 goals in like his first 9 or 10 games for Napoli. The managers aren't the problem at United. There is something toxic at that club. Something's infected. I don't know what it is. It's probably administration. It's probably down to the fact they've got accountants running the club. No clue. But you cannot tell me that Ruben Amorim, Eric Ten Hag, Mourinho, Vanguard, you cannot tell me these guys are bad managers. Even Solskjaer, you can't tell me they're bad managers. There is something, that club, I think they're expecting, it's almost like they want you to go into Armani with a Primark budget and say, right, buy me a really expensive bag with like a 5, and get me change or something. They're weird as a club. They're all over the place. They're shambles, And I think that they're so driven by revenue and about our history and expectation that the fact that it's taken them 12 years and they still, I remember back in 2013 when Martial joined the club and they beat Liverpool 3-1. Liverpool had Benteke as their main striker. And then look up where they are from there to now. And United has literally just gone like that. There is something wrong with that club. I'm telling you. So when they make these comparisons with anything you say anti-Amorim about Arteta being better, you're right. I'm not even going to argue it. I'm not that dumb to say, no. There's nothing for me to say there. United is fit club, man. They're losing their reputation hard. I don't know what's next. I would not like them to sack Amorim because I think it would be unfair on him. I think they really need to understand, right, what's our 3-year, 5-year plan? That's me. I'm just a random guy, but United probably ignore my opinion anyway.
Yeah. I think there are deeper issues. There are clear deeper issues, from the fact that, the ownership issues, the whole, you didn't have a sporting director for a long time. And as you said, the amount of managers you've been through and the fact that there's a lot of players they've come in and done poorly at United, yet they go elsewhere. Is one of them. Apparently, not played pretty well.
Look at McTominay, man. He looks like he's part. He's just McTominay's become a hero in Napoli. Insane.
Yeah.
I tell you, what kind of leadership style. I tell you who I miss. When Arsenal used to have someone like David Dean, I remember watching a documentary on how he hired Arsene Wenger and how he just said to him, "Do your thing." Man United needs to go back to that. They don't have that. They need to go back to grassroots. Academy players, focus on local talent. No point bringing in all really big signings and then flopping. I'd much rather United be in the bottom half of the table with all academy players than them be at the bottom half with these international players. That's what baffles me. Sorry, Tamim, I interrupted you. My apologies.
No, you're fine. No, it's the whole internet, man. It's kind of that's off randomly.
But no, how do you feel about Manchester United? Do you feel like they're still? I don't know. How do you feel about United, man?
I'm loving their struggles as
This
a
man.
Gooner.
Good,
But and long may it continue. But I do think they'll turn a bit of a corner. I made this point at the beginning of the season, and I said it on Sparks' channel as well when I went on there. I predicted Man U to finish fifth.
You're being generous.
Because I honestly don't think it's that hard to finish fifth or even sixth.
I think it is.
No, like you can have a certain amount of losses and kind of get away with it. Like United just beat Sunderland quite convincingly 2-0, which I had my doubts over.
Me too.
Because Sunderland are quite a well-drilled team.
Very well.
And it's going back to what we mentioned a couple of weeks ago about Man U. Like they have been underperforming their XG stats. Like they're the one team who have done really, really poorly in terms of finishing their chances. So eventually, with the amount of attacking talent that they've bought, with the likes of Cunha, with the likes of Šeško, Brian and Burmo as well, like all three players who Arsenal were linked with, you expect them to do fairly better than they have done. And what my Millwall supporting friend today kind of made the point to me. He was like, any improvement from 15th from last year is going to feel massive for them. The fact that they were so bad, and the fact they got away with beating relegation because the other teams were so poor. And Leicester and not Burnley, Leicester and Southampton. I mean, let's see. They've got Liverpool next, so
Liverpool win. Yeah,
I'm the biggest Man United fan going when they play Tamim. So go Man United, GGMU.
I don't know if it's a guaranteed win. I don't think it's a guaranteed win for Liverpool at all, man. Even at your worst, you lot still turn up. So it's going to be a hard.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's so typical of Man United to go face Liverpool. Where are they playing? At Anfield?
I think, I think we're home. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put in a prediction that I think either Liverpool will be a draw 1-1, or I can see Man United winning 2-1 for some reason. Something stupid. Just like Liverpool will probably capitulate in the second half or something. 2-1 or 1-1, you know?
I'm going 2-1 to Liverpool as well, but I think it's going to be a very tight game. You guys are going to have a lot of good chances. I think you'll break many times.
Danyaal doesn't care the result as long as Liverpool loses, yeah?
No. Like for me, if Man United get hammered, then I'm going to laugh regardless. Long man at King. I love that 7-0 thrashing a couple of seasons ago.
That was embarrassing. That's genuinely embarrassing, man. Brilliant. I just see Alex Ferguson like. I think he ran out of shoes to throw at the players.
Tried to look for Beckham again, didn't he?
For me,
3-0 to Liverpool.
I think Liverpool win 2-1.
Yeah, Liverpool. It'll be a sketchy sort of win for Liverpool.
It always feels like a bit of a derby with Man U versus Liverpool, I think. So let's see, lads. Let's see. We've got Fulham away on the 18th. I'm just hoping.
Okay.
It is a tough match. Again, a game we drew against them last year, where it finished 1-1. I'm just hoping we come out of this international break with no further injuries. So let's see, lads. Let's see.
Let's see, indeed, man. Interesting.
Thank you to all our listeners and viewers who have joined in. We will join you after the next round of fixtures. Arsenal versus Fulham. Fulham at home. Liverpool versus Man United. Let's see where the season takes us. Thank you for everyone again, and we'll end this here.
Thank you.
Take care, boys. See ya.